over the second part in our series on the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I had done another previous episode that really talked about the mindset of Think and Grow Rich and its foundation and who Napoleon Hill was and what he did and how he came up with this step-by-step guide on how to think and grow rich, right? Or in other words, how to think and get what you want, right? It could be rich and riches, or it could be whatever your heart desires. Oh, and so today is the second part in that. And we're going to go over the first and second steps in his book on how to achieve your goals, basically. And my hope is in this is that you guys realize I really enjoy reading this book. There's some really great stories in here about people that he studied that took the steps, like Lincoln, Ford, all of the founding fathers that have followed these steps and gotten what they desired. And what I've really tried to do is I've read the book and try to boil it down into what you need to know out of it, right? So you don't have to go read it, but you can still have the basic understanding, the basic outline of what he's saying, right? And the basic steps to think and grow rich, according to Napoleon Hill and all of the over 500 very successful people in his time that he interviewed and studied to figure out what makes successful people different, what path they follow. And so today we're going over steps 1 and 2. And the first step that he goes over is step, what do you want? What do you desire, right? And so that means having a very clear picture in your head of what you want. Is it a certain amount of money? Is it a car? Is it a new house? Is it whatever you're working for? Be able to see it in your mind. Have it well defined. Is it whatever your next step is, right? Is it paying for college education for your kids? Whatever that goal is, whatever you want, whatever you desire, whatever you're working for, be able to see it, right, as a picture in your head. And once you can take some time and really focus on what you want, then the next step is, what are you willing to give in exchange for that, right? What services, because you can't get something for nothing, as he puts in the book. You have to give up something for what you want. So what are you good at that you could give up? And then in exchange, you can get what you desire, right? And so there's lots of ways to think about this, right? If you're a builder or remodeler, you're going to build people beautiful spaces in exchange for getting what you want, which is the money to go buy whatever you want or build the thing you want or get the car you want, right? So know what you want, know what you desire, and then what are you going to give up? What are you going to give for that? What service, what product? So like for me, I help people protect what they build in a construction company, right? You went out and you started your own business, you've got somewhere. I'm going to help you with contracts. I'm going to help you collect your money. I'm going to help you when you get into any kind of situation that is, a legal situation that's kind of sticky. I'm going to help you get out of there as fast and as effectively as possible. And that's what I'm giving up to get what I want, right? To get what I desire. I'm good at it. And what you give up and what you're going to work on should be something that you enjoy doing, and really it comes easy to you, right? It's that working at it is hard and time consuming, but it's one of those things that you don't have to struggle to get the ideas to do. Like people who are just naturally good at seeing what things will look like when they're finished being built. Like I can't do that. And just visualizing what the end project will look like. That's amazing. That's a real skill. And that's a service that you'll give up to get what you desire, right? Building beautiful spaces for people. So the first thing is to really know what you want and then know what you're going to give up. So that's the first step is know what you desire very clearly in your mind, right? And then the second step is visualizing and believing. So first, like I said, hold it as a picture in your mind, a movie to see what you want, where you're going, and then believe you can actually do it. You have to have faith and believe that you can do it. You can do what you desire. If you don't have faith, you'll never get there. So once you take the time and believe and have faith that you can get where you want to go, your mind will start working backwards, right? if you give your mind like, okay, if you think about it, this is where I'm headed. This is the picture. I want $1 million in my bank account. I can visualize what that looks like. I can feel like the relief that would bring, um, and just visualize that mental picture in your mind and believe that you can get there. Your mind will start coming up with the ways on how to get there. If you don't believe you can, then your mind won't give you those steps, right? So the first step is actually number one, believing that you can do it. And then really spending, and what he says, spend time each day visualizing that you have that or that you are that, whatever your desire is, um, you know, to be more in shape, whatever it is, take time each day to visualize what that person looks like, what the end result looks like, and put emotion behind it. What does it feel like? What does it feel like to have that $1 million in the bank account? What does it feel like to be that fit person that you're aiming for? Whatever it is, spend time each day visualizing it and believing it. And once you start that, your mind will help you fill in the steps on how to get there. And really, for any goal, anything where your head is, you want to start with the big picture and work backwards. A great example of this is all of my litigation cases. Our hope is that we're going to settle the case along the way and spend the least amount as possible. But in order to do that, I got to start with the end result in mind. So in our cases, what we do is we start with, okay, what will we have to prove to a judge or jury to win your case, right? We're going to start that as an outline. These are all the things that I have to prove. And then we fill in all the evidence of what we have or what we need and where we can get it. And that way, as we're going along, we're creating the full case of everything we need. We're not going to miss anything because we're starting with the end in mind. And so that's how all your goals work too, starting with your end in mind. Where are you going? $1 million. Okay, well, where do I have to be to get there? How many projects do I have to sell to get there? What is my profit margin on each project? If you know how much you're making on each project, then you'll know how many projects you have to sell to get to $1 million in profit or gross revenue, whatever you're aiming for, and then back it up. How am I going to get that many projects, right? What marketing am I going to try? And so it's like starting with a big goal in mind and then backing it up step by step until it's small steps that you can break down and understand, right? And once you start believing it, the ideas will start flowing. I promise you it will. It works that way. If you believe and have faith that you can get there and kind of write it down as a goal and visualize it every day, your mind will come up with the steps to get you where you are to where you want to be once you believe that you can actually do it, right? So spend time each day visualizing where you want to go. And this is not only Napoleon Hill's idea. This is a huge idea that's out there and it's been out there. But what Napoleon Hill says is that this is one of the things that successful people do that makes them successful, right? Is that they control their thoughts, they control their belief, they control their faith, right? And so this is one of the steps, if you want to be successful, that you should follow as well, right? Visualization and belief. And he's got some great poems in there and great stories, but the bottom line is whatever you think, you will produce. And that can either be poverty or riches, right? So just know your mind controls everything. Your mind controls your action. Whatever you think is what you're going to find, is what you're going to see, and is what you're going to produce. So to recap, what are we looking for? Know what you want and be able to see it. Know what services that you're good at that you're going to give up to get what you desire, right? And then visualize daily on what it looks like when you reach that goal, what that $1 million looks like in your bank account, what you look like as a fit person, or that goal that you're trying to reach. What does it feel like? Visualize it, put emotion behind it, and believe that you can get there. And then write it down as here's where I'm headed and back it down each step. I want $1 million in my bank account. Well, if I want that, I make $50,000 profit on each job that I'll do, right? That's what I'm aiming for. And so then how many projects do I have to sell at $50,000 project to get to $1 million, right? So you can break it down in tiny steps, right? So just work on it little by little, visualize and believe. Those are the first two steps that Napoleon Hill has in his book on how to think and grow rich. We'll take the next episode and we'll go over steps 3 and 4. which are just as important. So these were the first two. I hope you guys are enjoying the series on Think and Grow Rich, which is Napoleon Hill's book. Great book. I highly recommend. Listen to it on Audible.